Page 188, Pachelbel Canon, very famous melody from a long time ago, if you look at the years when this guy lived. Now this is the end of the book. You have finished the 2 books here in this series. Congratulations. If you were interested in going on, there are all kinds of books with collections of pieces in them. They're called anthologies or collections or whatever you call them. You just start getting them, collecting them. You'll find pieces in them you like, pieces in them you don't like. You just gradually builds your music library up. If you're looking for other method books that carry on after this, I like the John Thompson series. You start around book 3 or so in the John Thompson, any of the John Thompson series, around 3 or so, and just can keep going because they get rather difficult in those. I don't cover lessons in all of them. I don't do advanced lessons in this series yet. There's too many beginner and intermediate lessons to do. I don't have time for the advanced stuff yet. But you're welcome to do that. Actually, once you get to the advanced level, you really need a live teacher to help you with your technique, because I can't really do that in this format. I need to see you in front of me to help you with your technique. So I would encourage you to get a live teacher if you can. I've given other lessons on this. This is a tricky piece. It starts out okay with the broken chords, but when you get to like page 190 and the 16th notes are going crazy, it gets a little involved, because the whole piece needs to be at one speed. You don't play it at different speeds because of what's in it. In this case, you don't. Some pieces you do, but not here. But I'm going to rely on the process I've been using to learn a piece of music, because it works with pretty much anything. As far as I know, I use it on everything. It's what I've been using in all the videos. Somebody asked me once, could you teach the process for learning a piece of music? I said, I'm doing it in all the videos. That's the process we use. It's the process I use. You can have your own process. You want to adjust it, whatever, that's fine. I look it over and get an idea of how long it is. And we see this one is several pages long. This is what, 4 pages, 5 pages long? Okay. I just want an idea how long it is. Because when it's long like this, I know I'm going to have to break it up into sections to learn it. Treble and bass clef, at least to start. They may change around a bit, but I want to know where it is at the beginning. Notes, sharps, or flats in the key signature. We're either in the key of C major or A minor. If we look at the end, at the bottom of page 191, that is a C major chord. That is a C, that's it. It's a G on the bottom. So we're in the key of C major. However, for the scales and arpeggios, I'm still going to do C major and A minor. I do it for the key signature. Whether I do it 1 octave or 2 octaves depends on whether I know it or not. If I know it already, I'm okay with the scale or arpeggio, I go 2 octaves. If I don't know them, just 1 octave. And keep them slow. And 4/4 time signature. Okay. Let's take it one hand at a time. Make sure we got the notes, the rhythms, and the fingering okay. Right hand, we're starting here. Just broken chords. 1 and 2 and. Come down. Just come down. That's all this. Go to measure 4, where you're here, then here. I don't want to do that. I mean, you can. This is not a fast piece. You can get away with it. That's rather awkward. If I can help it, I would rather not. So I'm going to change the fingering here. I've been using this fingering on all these broken chords, whatever, but I'm going to adjust it to accommodate this other. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to put thumb on that note. So it's here. Just reach up. If you're doing the arpeggios, you can do this. 2 octaves. And this way I'm ready. Down here. Just their fingering here is fine. We're just walking our way down the keyboard. And then measure 9. Those little notes, I'll leave those out right now. We'll put those in later. I do those when I do the articulation. And thumb. 1. Their fingering is fine, C major scale. Measure what? 16, bottom of the page right here. 1 E. 8th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a. 3 E and a 4. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And work it out at your speed, but make sure it's all a steady beat throughout that. And then measure 17. Let's hear 1. Just get the rhythm. They give you the counting in between. I don't really read it, I just count it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 and. Let's just scale 1. Now on measure 18, where you're here, I don't want to do that. I need a little finger on that E. Here. So to get there, for that, I'm going to do a 1, scrunch up 4, 5. Here. This way I can reach the E more easily. So again, that measure, 1 E. Reach up. So let's just cover this slowly with the rhythm. Measure 17. We're here. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E. 1 E and 2 E and reach up. 1 E and 2 E, and then you cross over. We just crossed over for one note. 1 E. So it's got a lot of scale passages in it. But their fingering otherwise is working out pretty well. And this page is the toughest because of the 16th notes. Now on measure 37, the half notes you hear. Got these parallel 6 going down. You can use 1 and 5 on all of them. Flex at the wrist. I tend to do a 1, 5, 1, 4 out of habit, because you can do 1 and 5 if you want, that's fine. But the last 2 measures, make sure you hold that down. And I do a 1, 2, 4 for the last one. I don't do a 5 again. Really, it's all here. So it's 1, 2. There, that's what I do. Left hand, let's see, we got here. Is all over the place. So third finger there in measure 4. You do it again. Okay. Now measure 9, you have to lift up at measure 8 to come up here. That's not a lot of help there. You just gotta lift up and move. Reach down. Connect all these if you can, except for the rest. On page 190, when the right hand is going crazy, the left hand is just playing this pattern. It's called an ostinato pattern. It's a repeating pattern. That's all it's doing. The pattern, the fingering on it is really up to you. Just make sure you can connect all these half notes. And then measure 25, you're going to come up here. You're doing 1, 3 on all these. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. You can, if you'd like, you can do a 3, I can do a 4, 2, and then a 3, 1. If you want, just for kicks and giggles, but if you're having enough trouble with the other stuff, then 1, 3 on these others is fine. Same thing on measure 30 when you're doing that. I tend to do a 2, 4 first and then a 3, 1. So then I try putting the hands together. And when I first do that, I hesitate. That's fine, I don't care. I just want to know. Connect all this as best you can, but make sure you lift up for the rest in the right hand. Okay. Measure 11 gets a little more trickier because 8th notes. Now, in the left hand, would prefer to connect this. So I'm going to change this in the left hand. Measure 12 is okay, but measure 13 instead of thumb, I'm going to use second finger. 2, 5, and then a 1, so I can connect them. I want to connect them. I should have caught that earlier, but I didn't, so this is 4. So in measure 12 again, we're here. Then 2 in the left hand, then 5, and then 1. I'm going a little fast. The idea is you're just trying to figure out how the hands are working together. On page 190, when the right hand's going crazy, fortunately the left hand's just doing half notes. On page 191, so around what, measure 33, it's here. Broke up the chord between the hands. We're just coming down. Use the same fingers and all up, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Get the other. Okay. So I'll put the hands together. And on this one, because it's so long, and it's a variation actually, theme and variations, you got the double bars occasionally, to take it a section at a time. For instance, now the first section is actually the first 2 pages. If that's too much, just take it a page at a time and focus just on that. Forget the rest of it for now. Just focus on that. Take this a little bit at a time. But once you have it, set it aside. Don't keep playing it. Work on the other stuff. Don't spend time practicing playing stuff you can play when you're trying to learn a piece. Focus your time on what you can't play. And then you can go put it all together once you learn the parts, all of it. Once I have the hesitations taken out, no hesitations, then I think about the articulation and disconnected. Connect it all. Measure 9, you got. Now they got this here. I have a habit, because this is a type of ornament, I have a habit of playing this, not 2, 3, 2. You can, but I do a 2, 4, 3. To me, that's easier once you learn it. I'm not using the same finger. Right here, I'm doing that. Okay, and play the first 16th note with the left hand. Line them up so it's with this here. So it's. Some people would play the 16th note before the beat. Please don't. But play it on the beat. Play it with the 8th notes. You're pretty much connecting it. On page 190, you can put in these slurs if you want. If you want to lift up on that and feel those, that's fine. Pedal covers it all up, so I'll leave that up to you whether you do that. Ideally, you would do that. You would feel these slurs. You would feel those. Even though in the left hand you're connecting it all. Then I add the dynamics. At the beginning, it's really both hands, it's soft. This builds up over time. It gradually gets, and then measure 9, you're sort of soft. And it's really more for the right hand here. Then go up. Moderately loud. Then you're going back down to moderately soft there for measure 13. Okay, measure 15, you get a little louder, and then you measure 16, you get a little louder. Measure 17, you're moderately loud in the right hand. Left hand, just keep it out of the way. This is sort of the climax of the piece in here, because measure 21, loud here. And you're staying loud. They give you another loud for measure 25. It's a new section. And they give you the dynamic at the section, each section. If you're already loud, you're in the right hand. In the right hand, keep the left hand out of the way. And then measure 29, you come down to moderately loud, and then measure 33, you come down to moderately soft. You're coming back down. So really what they've done is you got a giant swell, up and back down, the whole piece. And they're giving you the dynamics along the way to guide you to get louder, because you're taking pages to get loud, and then you're taking a page and a half or a page or whatever to get back down soft. So they're giving you the dynamics, which has the effect of this giant swell in the piece. Speed is slowly, well, andante is not really slowly, it's kind of a casual 1, 2, 1, 2, but you have to consider the tricky stuff. So what can you do on page 190? This part. What is that? How fast can you play that accurately? And that is going to be your andante for now. Later on, when you get better, you might play it a little faster. It doesn't go fast. Don't rush it. No. It's way out of context for the piece. It's a gentle. I wouldn't take it any faster than that. You don't need to go that fast. You decide on the speed you're going to go. But the whole thing has to be at one speed. So decide how fast page 190 is going to go, and that's how fast you go at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I'm going to do. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Don't play this part. 2 and 3 and 4 and whatever. Don't play this at that speed. And then the page 190, slow it way down for that. No. The whole thing has to be at one constant speed throughout. Now they've added pedal. It'd be nice to have some overtones. We don't really need pedal to help us connect the notes too much. We can pretty much do that with our hands. But it's nice to have the overtones for the chords. Color them up a little bit. It's going to be overlapping pedal. We have to be careful because we don't want to smear it up too much. So the notes go down first, then the pedal. Change the pedal after, play the notes. That's pretty much how it is. Now be careful, again, we don't want to smear it up. Take a look at measure 11. Here, if I pedal it the way it's shown, it's this. Yeah, and if you're not listening to it, it's okay. But otherwise, it sounds terrible. No, we got to fix that. And you experiment. Well, how do I fix it? Well, try different things out and see what sounds better. Leave the pedal out first and see if is that okay. Measure 11. It sounds okay, except it's dry. I mean, we've had all these overtones before. And then suddenly to be dry like this, yeah, I don't know. So what do? Well, how about we change the pedal every beat? Try that and see. I mean, like on measure 12, they're telling you to. I would continue to change it on every beat throughout pretty much all of this. So measure 14, every beat. And on the last measure, measure 16. There, for the last, I'd lift the pedal up here. Keep that down. Yeah, clean all that out. So it's not all together. And then for measure 17, we want this to be fairly clean here. And you could get away with leaving the pedal out here. In my opinion, that sounds better than mushing it up. You know, that's every beat. Yeah. So you just have to decide what you like to hear. I think for me, I would leave the pedal out on measure 17 through 20. Just leave it out pretty much. Measure 21, you go back to pedaling again. Change it on every beat. On measure 23, don't pedal that. I'm adjusting the pedal to what I'm hearing here. If it gets too mushy, I change it. That's all right. Now, I missed it before. Let me cover it right quick. Measure 22. Above the staff, you have these finger numbers in parentheses. What's that about? We've had this sort of thing before. They're alternate finger numbers. They're giving you an option. You could finger that first note in measure 22 with 5. Or you could finger it with 3-1. There's different ways of fingering it. It's up to you on which you use. Just be consistent. Once you pick one, stick with it. I'm going to do the 3-1. I don't want to go from here to here. So I'm going to go with 3. Here. Basically, I'm changing hand positions on the repeated notes is what I'm doing. Now we have a page turn to deal with. We have to figure that out. So how are you going to get the page turned? Because you can't mess up the beat because you're turning the page. Please don't. Keep the beat a steady beat. The piece needs to flow from start to end. How do we do it? Well, with the options. The first option is always memorize the piece. You don't have to worry about it. If you can't memorize the piece, maybe you memorize half of it. Then you don't have to worry about it. If you can't do that, then maybe somebody is there who can turn the page for you, and that helps out too. If there's nobody there, you got to do it yourself. We're getting limited here on what we can do. If one hand isn't busy, then let that hand turn the page while the other hand is doing its thing. In this piece, both hands are busy all the way through. The last option is leave out notes. It's always the last option. We don't want to leave out notes if we can help it. But here, because both hands are busy, we don't have a lot of choice. We're going to have to leave out notes. You can't leave out melody notes. You got to have the melody. And how many notes you leave out depends on how quickly you can get the page turned. So at the bottom of page 189, you got these 16th notes. Here. So I suggest while you're doing measures 15 and 16, or measure 16 if you can do it quickly, you're going to have to leave out the half notes in the left hand. So here, measure 16. What you're doing is turn the page real quick so that you can keep going on measure 17. We do practice page turns if we have to, because we need a steady beat. We don't want to mess things up because we're doing something different in one hand. You may have to practice that. Please don't copy me. This is one way of doing it. There's a retardato at the end. You slow down a bit. That's fine. Let's play this together just to check the notes and the rhythms. Now, we're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do louds and softs. We're going to go super slow. And I cannot do the page turn and play with me. So we're going to do the first 2 pages. Then we're going to stop. I'm going to turn the page. I'll give it, count us in again. Another 4 counts. And we'll do the last 2 pages. Just to make sure you got the right notes and rhythms. One hand at a time if you need to. That's fine. Now, because of all the 16th notes, I'm going to go ahead and put the metronome on 8 notes. It's going to be 8th notes. So it's 1 and 2 and. That's what these are. So the 8th notes. 1 e and 2 e and. I'll give us 4 quarter notes to come in though. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1. Stop and turn the page. 1 and 2 and ready and go we and 1 e and 2 e and and one and two and four and two and four and two and four and two and four and two and three and four and off.